Welcome to Work It, Live It, Own It, where we're all about empowering business owners to take charge of both their personal and professional lives. I'm your hostess, SaCola Lehr. Welcome to 2025, guys. As we step into this new year, you might be feeling the buzz of setting new resolutions and chasing big goals. But what if this year, instead of striving for perfection, trying to find balance, we aim for harmony? And so today we're going to be exploring how to set sustainable, realistic goals that allow you to thrive in every area of your life, family, business, and self-care. So without further ado, let's dive in. If you are listening to this podcast for the very first time, welcome. Thank you so much. I'm SaCola Lehr, and I'm so pleased to meet you. If you are returning back to this new season 3 of the Work It, Live It, Own It podcast, thank you so much for tuning in. I am loving the reviews that I'm getting for this podcast. It is encouraging me to keep going because I know that this message is resonating with some of you out there. So in this particular episode, we are going to reflect on core values, setting SMART goals for each area of life. And then we're going to talk about building a sustainable plan, how we can actually sustain these goals, and embracing flexibility. So without further ado, let's dive in on reflecting core values. Now, guys, setting goals, before we even start diving into goal setting, I want us to take a step back and reflect on what really truly matters. Because harmony is what this podcast is all about. This is what our conversations are all about, because harmony begins with aligning your goals to your values. And if you have not set core values for yourself in your personal life and in your business, I encourage you to tune in to episode 13, where I dive strictly into core values and how to set them up in your personal and professional life. But if you've already set your core values, I want you to ask yourself, what matters to me in my personal and professional life? Which areas felt out of harmony last year and why? What is one value I want to focus on this year? The reason why I ask these questions about what matters in your personal, professional life, what areas felt out of harmony last year and why, and what is one value you really want to focus on this year is because if you're identifying your priorities, you can build goals that support and not compete with what's most important to you. So I want you to take a moment when you have some time. Be sure to download this episode and take a moment to jot down your reflections or even pause this podcast and think deeply about those questions. What matters to you most in your personal, professional life? What areas felt out of harmony last year and why? And what is one value I really want to focus on this year? Remember, clarity is the foundation of harmony. Now, let's get into goal setting because that's what a lot of people want to do. We have vision boards, we have goals that we want to do, but let's do this the smart way. And let's figure out how we can do SMART goals in each aspect of our life. So now that we've reflected on our values, let's turn those insights into actionable goals. Because a harmonious life has 3 key areas: family, business, or your career, and self-care. Now, your family could look something like this, where you could schedule quality time, you set boundaries around work, and nurture relationships. You're focused more on nurturing the relationships that are going to help you thrive and flourish. And this could also look like planning weekly family dinners or having a no phone rule during family time. Business or your career could look something like defining clear objectives that align with your values. For example, you may aim to hit a revenue goal or launch a new project, but always with purpose that feels authentic. For me, I was part of a equity, diversity, and inclusion group and my job at one point in time. And all we seemed to do was talk about problems. What issues occurred in our workplace or things that are happening around the world. And I felt really drained by this. And so I took a step back and I said, this is not fueling me. This is not helping me be the woman that I am aspiring to be. And I said, I will only take on or participate when it's something that really ignites me and fuels me inside. And so an opportunity arose to do that. And so I was still able to support the committee and I was still able to support the group. However, I was able to do it in a more authentic way. Next is yourself. Prioritizing self-care. Last episode, I talked about this. So this could look something like exercise or pursuing hobbies or simply carving out downtime. I can tell you honestly today, guys, I did so much work yesterday around the house, meal prepping, organizing, planning out events, that today I woke up, I exercised a little bit, and then all of a sudden I felt drained. And sometimes that might be because of things that I'm going through health-wise, but I stopped and I took a nap. So carving out downtime can refuel you and recharge you to keep going throughout the day. So make sure you're on your own priority list. Now, the goal isn't to give equal time to each area, because that's what balance is. You're trying to carve out a 50-50 or like a nice slice of pie all around, right? You're trying to give out equal amounts to everything in each area. So that's not what goals are, setting goals are. This isn't about that. This is about giving intentional energy to what matters most. So using the SMART framework to ensure that your goals are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So let's take these three areas: family, business, career, and self-care, and let's see what it looks like with SMART goals. So having family dinner every Sunday. This could be measurable because you're tracking this weekly. This could be achievable if you coordinate schedules in advance. And it's relevant because you're building stronger family connections. Time-bound, you can achieve this for 3 months straight. In your career and your business, a specific way to break this down is increase revenue by 15% this quarter. It could be measurable by monitoring monthly sales reports. It could be achievable if you focus on upselling services to existing clients. It could be relevant because it supports overall business growth or career growth. And time-bound, you could set it by the end of the first quarter, March 31st, 2025. Self-care. How can we break this down using the SMART goal method? Specific goal. Hey, I want to exercise at least 3 times a week. Let's make this measurable by tracking each session in a fitness app. It could be achievable by starting with 30-minute home workouts or gym workouts. It could be relevant because it's improving my mental and physical health. And time-bound, I can maintain this routine for 6 months. So see how you can take the SMART goal framework and apply it in those 3 areas of your life of family, career, business, and self-care. It can be done. Now, SaCola, this sounds great. This might be what you're saying to me. This sounds awesome. But let's just be real. How can we make this sustainable? And I hear you. I got you. Because I am not a person who sets New Year's resolutions. I like to choose one word of the year, and I like that to be my primary focus. And so my word of the year is simplify. That is something that I have struggled with for a very long time, is to be simplistic. And that could mean taking one goal at a time and focusing on that, or taking one weakness at a time, focusing on that and making it a strength. So how can this work for you? Well, goals without a plan are just wishes. So let's create a structure to make them stick. Time blocking is something that I love doing. because I'm able to schedule dedicated time for each area. So treat my family dinners, my work tasks, my personal workouts as non-negotiable appointments. At one point, I even challenged myself to erase my calendar unless it was a doctor's appointment, medical appointment, or something that I really need to show up for. I kept those on the calendar, but I literally cleared my calendar and I even blocked out vacant time. Vacant time that could mean something I could work on, a craft on. Crocheting is something that I like to do. Or it could be my workout time. Or it could be just watching a television show with my husband. We love British comedies. And that's something that we started doing when we first got married. So sometimes we feel nostalgic. And so I block in that time on a Saturday evening and we'll watch a British comedy show. Weekly check-ins is important too, because you want to review what's working and adjust as needed. Just because you set something in your calendar and it doesn't work for you at that particular time doesn't mean that you have to stick to it. So monitor and adjust. And these check-ins will help you stay on track and pivot when life throws you curveballs. Accountability. Partner with a friend, a coach, community for support. By sharing your goals out loud can help you stay consistent and celebrate your progress when you achieve those goals. Ultimately, guys, sustainability comes from consistency, not overloading your plate. Think marathon, not sprint. We're in this for the long haul. Finally, let's talk about embracing flexibility, because no matter how well you plan, life happens. And the key to harmony is flexibility. And here's some ways that I can share with you on how to pivot gracefully. Let's reframe setbacks as opportunities to realign. Every day is a setback. We start all over. We have an opportunity to realign and reassess. So if something happened the day before, or I recently had something happen to me in my business that I wasn't aware of, and it could have cost me dearly. But now that I know it, and once I talked to someone and they said, hey, it's a good thing that you checked in, because now you know how to plan for the future and accordingly. And yes, I beat myself up for a couple of days after this, because I'm one of these people. I am a person who will replay this over and over in my head. And my therapist likes to call it a thought loop. Some therapists call it a thought loop, and I was doing thought loop. So by 72 hours, by day 3 or day 4, I was like, is this a helpful thought? Is this a harmful thought? It's a harmful thought. So do you like beating yourself up? Do you like treating yourself poorly? You don't like doing that to other people, so why are you doing it to yourself? So it's okay. Take these times as opportunities to realign and reassess. And instead of seeing challenges as failures, view them as moments to reassess your priorities. And create a buffer time in your schedule for unexpected events. This ensures that you stay grounded even when plans change. If you're in the sandwich generation like I am, then you have parents who are getting older. You may have teenage children. You may have children who have just left the nest. And so you're in between and you're trying to take care of these things. Harmony is about the ebbs and flows, guys. It's not about the equal parts of dispersing yourself out in all sorts of directions. So again, harmony isn't about rigidity. It's about adapting to life's ebbs and flows with intention. So again, embrace your life with flexibility. Well, there you have it, guys. We have covered so many things, so many powerful things. But the first thing I want you to do is to reflect on your core values. I want you to identify your priorities, that you can build goals that can support and not compete with what's most important. I want you to start setting SMART goals for each area of your life, and that's family, career, business, and self. And you can do this by using the SMART goal framework. And I gave you some examples of that in this episode. Building a sustainable plan, because again, we want this plan to last. You can do this by time blocking, doing weekly check-ins, setting up accountability for yourself, but most importantly, embracing flexibility, because just because you wrote it down in a calendar doesn't mean it can change. We all have ebbs and flows in our business. We are all imperfect, but remember, harmony, work-life harmony is about progress. It's not about perfection. So it means that just because we want it all doesn't mean we have to do it all. That's what work-life harmony is about. It's about doing what matters most with intention and grace. By setting realistic goals and creating a space for what really truly matters, you can make 2025 a year of thriving in both your personal and professional life. So let's work it, live it, own it right now. Take care, and I'll see you next time.